Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today, I'm going to be bringing to you some more games from IEM Kiev. Surprised? Cause I'm not. Let's jump right into this game. Spawning in the bottom right position as the red Protoss, playing from Team Millennium, we have Feast. His opponent spawning in the bottom left position. From Team Mortal Teamwork, we have DIMAGA. And he is going to be playing as the blue Zerg here in the bottom left position of Shakuras Plateau. Now, I wanted to cast this series because, like you may have heard from some of my previous casts in the past week, that I didn't actually get to watch, like, hardly any of IEM Kiev, like, at all. I really wanted to, but I was just super busy over the weekend and just had no time. Had some friends visiting from out of town, just didn't have any time to watch any of IEM Kiev. I literally saw, like, part of a match. It was bad. So I went out and I just downloaded every single replay from IEM Kiev, and I've just been like watching a bunch of the good ones and casting some of the ones that I've wanted to see. And one player that I've been actually super anxious to cast is mTwDIMAGA. This is a guy that I looked at the brackets online, and I know that this guy did pretty good. He took some wins off of some big players. He was pretty much unheard of for quite a while. He was on team, what is it? Against All Authority? AAA? He was on AAA for a while, him and his brother also. And then he was also a Warcraft 3 player before StarCraft 2. So yeah, but he just kind of busted out onto the StarCraft 2 scene, took some really impressive wins off some really good players. I'm not going to give you any spoilers quite yet because I'm probably going to cast some of them. But I want to see exactly how he did it because I am curious to know how Feast plays, because I'm just hearing all the buzz about Feast right now. Now, looks like he is going to be going for a Forge Fast Expand, very safe play on Shakuras Plateau. Pretty much always want to be doing this on this map just because it is so easy to defend your main and your natural by just cannoning off that one little ramp at the front. So it's very easy, very simple, gets you an easy 2 bases, and against a Zerg player, that is the way you like to be. You like to be even on bases, so we will have to see how DIMAGA is going to choose to respond to this. DIMAGA did just now get an Overlord into his opponent's base. He is just now going to peek in here and see that there are no bases, or there are no buildings at the ramp, so he's now just going to have to assume that there is probably an expansion going on down there, and how is he going to respond? He can possibly take an expansion of his own. We do see that he did get out that spawning pool, but no gas yet taken by DIMAGA. Just going to be bringing a few lings to his opponent's base, going to be poking in there to be sure that yes, indeed, there is an expansion. He is now just going to be getting in there, seeing that there is a photon cannon going down. A forge and a gateway is already down, and now going to be blocking that off pretty well with a pylon. Feast is getting ready. This is not a complete wall off yet, but I think in case those lings get here, he does want to be able to throw down a quick pylon to be able to block them from getting into his base, because right now, he would have to fight them with nothing but probes, and here we go. It looks like the pylon is going to go down, block those links right as they get there. Most likely going to be canceling that pylon here very shortly. Yes, there we do now see the pylon getting canceled. Cybernetics core coming down, and I imagine we're probably going to be seeing a Zealot coming out of here just as soon as he's got 100 resources to be able to do so. One gas has been taken, and it looks like DIMAGA is going to be going for the very fast third. This is one of the styles that some Zerg players prefer to go for. Just take that instantly fast third base. As soon as you see your opponent has expanded, just instantly go for that third base so you always stay ahead. It's a little bit risky though. You need to be very on top of your scouting. If this is how you're going to play, and you want to play where you're going to be taking that super fast third, then you need to be very on top of your scouting. You need to have a very good game sense, because this is actually a really risky thing to do. Notice he really doesn't have a whole lot of probes, double expanding basically right now, and it's going to be a little while before these bases kind of he gets his return in minerals on these bases. In the meantime, needs to be very active about using these lings to keep an eye on what his opponent is doing. As we can see, he's keeping a very good probe count here. He wants to know if his opponent is going to start to take probes. Also, another very important timing for DIMAGA to be aware of is the timings on these 2 gas geysers. There are a lot of 5-gate, 6-gate, 7-gate pushes that only require having these 2 gases up and running. You don't at all take your natural expansion Vespene geysers. You just get lots of probes up here, throw down a ton of gateways, warp in a whole bunch of units, and it's almost like a 4-gate. Almost like a 4-gate, where you can't really afford constant production out of all of those warp gates, but you can get a quick surge of lots and lots of units there, and then you kind of peter out after a little bit. But it's a very, very, very strong push, and it can be very, very effective against these quick double expand if you catch it. Now, did Feast actually see that the fast expansion went down? Yeah, he did actually get a probe in there and scout that that expansion went down, so now he's going to be trying to take advantage. Looks like he's coming forward with a probe right now. We do see that now more gateways are being thrown down. How many more are being thrown down? Right now, it looks like just 3 more are being added on. He currently has 1 here. Going to be throwing down a couple of pylons here, and I don't think DIMAGA has quite seen this. He did see this 1 Zealot here, though, and he's going to catch it out in the open, and that's going to be a big loss there for Feast. But now, oh no, the Roaches did finally spot the pylon, and is Feast going to be able to warp in? He's just now finishing up his warp gate tech. Gateways are all now morphing in, but there are a ton of Lings here. Is he going to be able to hold it? Oh, and he manages to catch one of the Zealots off guard. Nice little hold position there by that 1 Zealot, but will he be able to get up enough forces in time to be able to deal with this? This is a lot of Roaches and a lot of Lings to have to be able to deal with. We do see 1 pylon does go down, and now Feast is going to be taking a 3rd base behind this, amazingly. That's actually a pretty ballsy 3rd base to start taking here, but he is figuring, you know what, if I am applying pressure here with Zealots and Stalkers down in this lower position, then there is no way you can go for a counterattack, because if you try to go for a counterattack, I'm just going to move in and take your 3rd, because you can't really have that much defending it at this point. As we can see, DIMAGA is still focusing mostly on getting up lots and lots of drones down here. Looks like the pylon is finally going to go down because DIMAGA has just been forced to make so many units right now rather than drones, which is definitely what he would prefer to be making right now. If we check out the harvester count, yeah, we can see that Feast was up there in harvesters. Looks like DIMAGA just got a huge little surge of drones, and they are all going to be popping out, getting that natural good and saturated. Going to be getting that 3rd up very soon. Needs to position these units in a very defensive position. Doesn't want to be too aggressive here, wants to be sure that there are no pylons around in his base at this point in time. And Feast, I really like this expansion from Feast right now, because DIMAGA, at this point, he's just going to be focusing on droning right now. It's really, really risky for a Zerg in this position to start spending a lot of units. It's pretty all in if you just start focusing on a lot of Roach and Ling production right now. I mean, this is already a lot more than DIMAGA would have wanted to make. So at this point, DIMAGA is just really going to be wanting to drone up to get this 3rd base, and Feast knows that. So what did Feast do? He just took another 3rd and said, you know what, I'm just going to take a 3rd. It's cool. I can do that because I know you're going to be expanding, so the fact that you're expanding and getting drones means you can't possibly be making any units. So I'm just going to take a cue from you. I'm going to throw up some more warp gates, and then I'm just going to keep on expanding. And this is a way that Protoss players are starting to play very commonly now. Very, very commonly you're starting to see Protoss players now that they don't go for that constant production like Terrans have to. Terrans always, you want to be constantly producing out of every single building you build. But as you can see here, Feast not really making use of that every single time his warp gates are up. Every now and then he warps in 1 round of units, but he's still focusing a lot of resources on getting up additional tech structures and more warp gates, so that when the time comes that he really does need to get a lot of units very quickly, he can just warp in a huge round of units, chrono boost every single one of these warp gates, and then warp out another quick round of units there. And then he will have spent a lot of his earlier money in getting econ there, and he's going to be very, very, very strong going into the mid to late game. And it looks like Feast is finally deciding to get aggressive, as he did put this pylon in a forward position right now. He is currently +2 in attack right now. Where is that forge actually? There is not researching at the moment, but man, +2 attack upgrades on these Stalkers are going to make them really, really good against these Roaches. And once again, he's forcing DIMAGA to make a ton of units. As we can see here, if we check out the harvester count, we can see that DIMAGA is still up. Nevertheless, he is up 72 harvesters to 67, but Feast is on 3 bases, which is currently matched bases with DIMAGA. So Feast has got to be feeling okay about that. Once again, just moving forward to try to put some light pressure onto his opponent to force extra units out of all of DIMAGA's hatcheries. And as we can see, the blink is now complete. We do see the robotics facility now being thrown down here by Feast, and we can see that he is going to be getting up, maybe looking to take a quick 4th here. We do see the robotics bay going down. He saw the composition of DIMAGA, saw mostly Lings, mostly Roaches, going to be going for very fast Colossus tech. And now that this 3rd is very well established, he can start to be very aggressive here in the mid-game. We do see a 2nd robotic facility is up as well, so that he's going to be double producing Colossi here very shortly. We do see Immortals are now on the way here for Feast. In the base of DIMAGA, we do see the lair tech is now, of course, up. We see Infestation Pit up as well, and DIMAGA just now starting to take his 4th. Infestors just now starting to make it onto the field as well. We do see +1 ground carapace on the way here for DIMAGA. Second evolution chamber now being thrown down, and this is actually a super late upgrade for DIMAGA. This is one thing that I think Protoss players are going to start to do a lot more in the future. Protoss players going to start doing a lot more heavy upgrading. Just a lot of players in general going to start to do a lot more heavy upgrading here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a second forge coming down here very quickly, but Protoss in particular have the ability to chrono boost their buildings. So they have the ability to get out a whole lot of upgrades really fast. Get out all these warp gates. It suits that whole tech path very well of getting out lots of warp gates. Looks like DIMAGA is now moving out with a ton of lings, tons of roaches. We do see a good number of infestors here with a lot of energy, and Feast now being forced to be very defensive here as he is positioning himself very well in this tight little area, forcing DIMAGA to have to pull back, and now DIMAGA is just going to be going for that third, but DIMAGA is going to be committing quite a bit to this attack because now Feast is going to be coming in from the back. He does have this Colossi out, and it is taking down those Zerglings so fast with that +2 attack upgrade, but those fungal growths are just doing so much damage right now as DIMAGA continues to rally in more lings and more infestors. We do see that this attack is going to be very strong, but notice how fast Feast is replenishing his army. He's continuing to chrono boost all of his warp gates back home as he continues to produce lots of units. We do see extended thermal lance is going to be done here fairly shortly. We do see 2 Colossi coming up right now, but it looks like DIMAGA has broken the front lines of Feast. He's starting to do a lot of damage to the units of Feast, and I think Feast is going to lose a lot of probes here. There's one Colossi that is now out, needs to be pulled back, can't take too much damage on it, and he is going to be pulling back there. Nice fungal growth going down on that Colossus, going to be dealing quite a bit of damage, but is Feast actually going to be able to hold this attack? If he does, this is going to be a huge win for him. We do see a huge swell of units coming from DIMAGA though, and Feast trying to do what he can with this Colossus. This Colossus down. Oh man, it does finally go down after only 7 kills there. And now Feast just down in the food count. DIMAGA just continuing to rally in more units. He is going for the kill right now. He knows he just needs to break his opponent right now as all these infestors are now moving in there, going to be fungal growthing that Colossus repeatedly. We do see lots and lots of infested Terrans going down, and Feast is going to GG DIMAGA, taking game 1 of this best of 3. Fantastic timing there by DIMAGA before just as Feast started to take a 4th base, went for that huge attack, and Feast just didn't quite have the units. I thought for a second there that he might be able to hold it, but he just didn't quite have enough warp gates to really be able to warp in enough defense to be able to defend it. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to be moving on to game 2 of DIMAGA versus Feast from IEM Kiev, so stick around.